The following is a presentation of the Mat Talk Podcast Network.
It's time to go on the mat. The Cedar Valley's longest-running radio show devoted entirely to wrestling. Brought to you by Rolling Ford and the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum on 1650 The Fan.
Welcome to On the Mat. This is our monthly Panther Wrestling Club UNI Wrestling edition. I am Jeff Bradley. I've got just two guests for today. Brett Robbins, volunteer coach. We're going to be going through some PWC events that we have had and that are upcoming. And then we'll have head wrestling coach Doug Schwab. He's going to go through more or less the outlook for the season, who he thinks may be in the lineup. We're going to go through some schedules all the way through to the national tournament. But right now, we're going to focus on volunteer assistant coach Brett Robbins. Brett, how are you doing today?
Doing pretty well. It's a beautiful day in Cedar Falls right now.
This might be as close, except for those little bugs. Yep. This might be the closest to a perfect day you can get. I mean, I don't know what it is. It's got to be 72, sunny, no humidity. It's perfect. And then coming off last weekend where it was just a nightmare. Raining and cold. It's great. And hopefully it holds out for a little bit longer. I always like it when it gets cold out because you know it's wrestling season.
Getting closer.
But I don't like the cold, so it's like a love-hate thing. So just a weird deal. But it is a beautiful day, and hopefully we'll have a few more. Okay, let's we've had some events, raising some money for PWC. And the first one was the UNI golf outing.
Yep.
And that's such a great event. All the great alumni come back. Everybody's having some beverages and a great meal. 18 holes of golf, which is great. But just walk us through there and your impressions on, I guess it was the 8th annual Schwab Mob golf outing, wasn't it?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. I believe so. And, it was something that started by, that really took off with Larry Hamilton. And since its passing, Randy Schaefer's done a great job continuing to build on what Larry did and then to also, grow it and make it bigger. So, he does a good job with our PWC president, Mark Showalter, and rest of the board that helps out. Allison Schwab, Deb Peters, Ty Kimball. They put a lot of time and effort into it, and it was a great day. I mean, it's always great having alumni back and guys that enjoy and support, UNI Wrestling, Panther Wrestling Club, wrestling in general in the Cedar Valley, and just to get out there and swing some clubs. And, I got to ride around with you, and, we got to drive around and see some people, and that's always fun just to catch up and maybe sink a putt or two.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. So kind of the joke within the joke there was, so Coach Brett and I were in a cart and we're riding around, and I think we ran up on, I think it was Marv Ryland. Yep. And I think it was Brad Brule who wrestled at UNI.
Yeah, the Brules, yep.
And he's down in Ankeny now. But so they're golfing, and we pull up. I think they're on like the 17th hole. And they're like, hey, you want to hit one? And well, yeah, because we're your free shot. Yeah. We're celebrity golfers.
Celebrity.
And Marv Ryland looked at me and goes like, well, that's the only time anybody's going to call you a celebrity. Yep. He's like, right now. But it was great. We'd pop in, we'd give them a free shot. 9 out of 10 times they didn't use it, but just a great event. And that's probably the biggest fundraiser for UNI Wrestling and PWC, isn't it?
Yeah, we do that, and then we have a sporting clay shoot, and then our raffle is always a big one held in the spring. But the golf outing, it does generate a lot of money for our club.
So is there a couple real big sponsors? I don't know if you have different levels of sponsors that you want to get out there. I know we had, you'd pull up to a tee box and there's 3-4 sponsors a hole. So
at least,
there's too many to name them all, but I didn't know if there was a couple different premieres that.
I know we just have a couple different levels for sponsorships, and I think most of them are 200s, and then we have $500 ones too, and then there's also people that just donate X amount of money. And just because they support the program and support what we're trying to do. So, but yeah, it's always great driving around, seeing all the people that support us and people just not from here, but, from all over the country that send in money and support the Panther Wrestling Club.
Yeah, so I know we've talked about trying to do some other golf things too at some different venues. So not sure that's going to materialize. Hopefully in the spring we can get something maybe in the Des Moines area again. If not, just everybody keep it on your calendar. It's always late August, early September. Schwab Mob number 9 will be next year. Love to have everybody be a part of it. So then just a couple weeks ago, we had the clay shoot, which you kind of alluded to. Another good fundraiser, kind of a different subset of folks we're running into, but I like those guys. I like them a lot. But you want to talk that through a little bit?
Yeah, and then first thing is huge thanks and shout out, I guess, to Brian Kittleson, because him and his family, his wife Sheila, his son Matt, his wife, they all, and his daughter was there this year, but they put a lot of time and effort into it. And then Rick Caldwell, he's been on the PWC board for several years and has stayed on after his son Cody graduated. And this year he stepped down, but he stuck around and helped with the shoot. But it's a great event because those guys handle everything on the shoot side. So I don't have to deal with the targets. I don't have to deal with the gun club, which, I mean, they're good people, but he handles all the logistics and gets everybody there. And it was a great event. This year we raised more money than we've ever had. Our shooters weren't as high, but we had more sponsorship money come in, which is always good. And, we just look to continue to grow it. And like you said, it's a different group of people. There's a lot of wrestling people there. And, but we also have people that just shoot or people from the gun club that see it and they're like, hey, I want to take part of this. So, it's a huge thanks to those people to get it running. The people at the gun club, Targets on the Move, and then all of our volunteer help, because without them, it'd be a long day. But it was a smooth event, and we had some great prizes that were picked up by Jim Snodgrass, Benton Concrete, and he does a great job getting us gifts, and that's almost reason enough to come shoot alone, just because we have some pretty good giveaways. And then Matt Porter in Janesville, Ornery Uncle Roy's, he did our barbecue for us. So
real good barbecue.
Oh, it was real good, and he brought that in, and those guys just want to keep growing the event, keep supporting the PWC and UNI wrestling.
Yeah, I think your wife, I know you didn't mention her, so I'm going to mention her for you. She did a phenomenal job of keeping all the scores organized.
Yep, she helps out.
And working there in the office. And then the other thing I've noticed the last couple of years is nobody goes away empty-handed.
No.
So they give away a ton of prizes for, if you earn something for the shoot. But if you don't, hey, go to the back table there. There's like 4 tables, all sorts of gear from all sorts of different places, and grab 1, 2, 3 things until it was gone. Yeah,
I know the past couple of years we've given even more away because we've gotten so much stuff. But there's T-shirts from all over the Cedar Valley, from companies and hats and koozies, and we have gift certificates. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff, and it's always good to just be able to give back to people that help support you.
So now we're back just to, a little over a week ago, homecoming, huge event for us in the sense that we kind of kick off our season more or less that weekend where, we have an open workout on Friday, another one on Saturday, followed up by as far as I can tell, the biggest tailgate on campus, at least for the homecoming. So let's talk through like the Friday practice, Saturday, and the tailgate.
Yeah, so they're open workouts because we technically can't have our hands on them. But so those guys, they came in and they did a drill and spar on their own for about 45 minutes to an hour on Friday. And we're out in the West Gym. We had a good crowd. We have good guys on our team that believe in thanking the people that come, and they always go up and interact with the people before practice and after, and thank them for coming, shake everybody's hand. And that's just kind of the culture we've been able to create here at UNI. But there are some good groups going. I think some groups just slapped hands and sparred for the whole time and just worked on, hey, I need to get better here, so I'm going to put myself in this position as many times as I can. Or they were drilling and they were trying to work on some finer details on different positions and moves or whatever they were working on that day. So, we're hands off. They run it. They do it all by themselves. And, it was a good Friday workout. I thought guys are putting in a lot of time here. And then, like you talked about Saturday, we have another open practice in the morning.
It's more or less I think the captains are running it. So like Max and those guys they'll get together and it was a hard scrap.
Yeah. And we usually end up going groups of 3 just because, maybe some limited mat space out there, but, they chose to go groups of 3 and, take 20 minutes, get your body warm, get hot. And then, those guys scrap for a long time. And when you get a good group of 3, a good group that's got to challenge you, it's really fun to watch. And, we had a great turnout. I think one of the whole sides, it was full. And I think that's a testament to what we've been able to build here at UNI and continuing to build. And, the Cedar Valley, Cedar Falls, the wrestling community here really supporting us, because I've been to some places and they don't even have, that many fans for a meet. So for us to fill that for an open practice, that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And, the guys do it on Friday night, but they also do it on Saturday. When that practice is over, they're in the stands for anywhere from 5 minutes to a half hour.
Yep.
Thanking people, hanging out with their family. And that's a lot of people don't think that's that big a deal. I've had fans come up to me and tell me, you guys, I didn't really know many of the guys when I got back into following UNI, but now I love all these guys because I know them,
yep.
And I'm friends with some of them.
The only downfall, I guess, is we don't have names on shirts. So for the new guys, it gets kind of confusing, but I know it's something we've talked about. We're going to take care of, but I mean, our guys love to give back and love to thank people for coming out. So, it's always a good weekend to get out and scrap in front of the crowd.
Yeah, we'll fix that next year. Everybody gets a shirt with their name on it.
Yep.
Everybody knows who everybody is. So then that dovetails right in, right after the workout, we go over the tailgate. Maybe there's an hour off in between there. Great meal, some good speeches.
Yeah.
Give us some highlights of that tailgate.
Well, it was kind of, it wasn't the best weather that day. We got rained on a little bit. It was real windy, but we had some people. We have a big tent that's usually set up. It's full anyways, and then we had Mark Showalter and Herb, and they ended up getting some pop up tents for us. Cruise Airus brought one, so that helps. And they just were like, "Hey, we need some help," and they brought him in. And then Dave Williams up in Charles City, he does our meal, and he makes some incredible ribs. And it was great because this year we had the president of UNI at our tailgate. We had the athletic director. We had Jamar Thompson, who's an assistant athletic director, and some others too that they're just walking by. They came over. They interact with our fans. They tried the barbecue, which they approved of, which was good. And it's always good to know that they can see the support we have, because we have a ton of it right now and a ton of it here. And then, we do that, and Doug does a talk. We always get to thank some people, which is always a big deal. People that give back to us, and we always think it's good to give thanks, because without the support we have, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So we gave thanks to a guy like Sean Kelly from Black Hawk Roofing, who goes above and beyond for our program for UNI, for the Panther Wrestling Club. Nate Schmidt, he's a big fan, but his wife, his family, they're all season ticket holders. They come to everything. The little boy's out running on the mat before practice that weekend. He helps us with whatever we need, and you say, "Hey, we need help," and he's there. He's like, "Yep, I'm on it." And we able to honor a couple of ladies, Carrie Ramsey, and she's the treasurer of our PWC, but she does a lot for our program, getting volunteer help for UNI Open, making sure people are there, help run the tables there, all the PWC stuff she's at all of our board meetings, she's at our other meetings, she helps sell gear. And then Jen Hayer, and that's her, they're close, our family, and Jen works at Coverall, and they do all of our embroidery, but they donate a ton of stuff to all of our events. And we need something turned around quick, we can go to her, and she's like, "Yep, it's done, no big deal." So, and it's not just a 1-year deal. These people have been supporting us for multiple years, ever since Doug's been here. So, it's always good to recognize the people that help you give back to the program.
You're listening On the Mat with Jeff Bradley and assistant wrestling coach Brett Robbins. Let's talk season tickets now that we're getting real close. November 4th, we've got an open tournament. It's not at home, but that's when the season technically opens for us. Still plenty of time to get season tickets. Great value. Let's put a plug in for season tickets for UNI Wrestling.
Season tickets, I think you can look on unitix.com, and you should be able to go and order some. I know I got my little pamphlet in the mail for my family, and $35. And this year we only have 4 home dual meets, but they're good meets. We're going to have NDSU, North Carolina, and then second half we're going to have Iowa State, and then Missouri.
University of Missouri, yep.
And it wasn't a lack of effort. I mean, we really tried to fill our schedule and try to get people to come to West Gym. And for a while there, we were in limbo just because we didn't know what conference we were going to be in, or we knew and just nothing was approved yet. So, we were just a little bit in limbo. But we also going to host the UNI Open in December, and that always brings quality teams and quality athletes. So, look forward to those. And, season tickets are $35, so I'd recommend getting on them, especially with Iowa State and Missouri home this year. It'd be big events, and that West End's going to sell out and be packed and hot and rowdy.
Yeah, the only way to guarantee you're going to have a seat is going to be season ticket, because Iowa State and Missouri will definitely sell out. That also gets you into the UNI Open. Is that correct?
Yep.
So you've got 5 home events. One of them's going to be all day UNI Open with a bunch of good Division I wrestlers in it. So grab those season tickets. Hey, we better switch over to Joey Laser real quick. Panther Wrestling Club athlete. He's been training pretty hard. Hasn't competed for a while, but he's got a competition coming up. Do you want to speak about that?
Yeah, Joey Laser, he took a year off with surgery and then kind of came back, and I think he was almost kind of a little lost as to what he wanted to do when he wrestled. And at the end of last season, for freestyle season, he was really starting to figure some things out, and he lost a couple close matches at the Open to some pretty highly ranked guys, but he was winning both matches and ended up losing, which you never want to give up that lead, but I thought it was a positive, sign for him, or a thing that, he's going in the right direction with his training. And then, so he wrestled at the Open, he wrestled at the last chance qualifiers in the finals. He lost to Ness, but, I thought he did really well, and he made some adjustments this summer as far as how he trained, and he's really committed to weightlifting. He's got muscles now, and his technique's getting better. He's letting it fly and just kind of being that creative wrestler that he is. And then coming up for him now is the Dave Schultz Memorial. They moved that from into January to November now. So he's going to head out to the Springs here in a few weeks. November 4th, he's going to be on the mat. New weight classes, new weigh-in procedure. And, he looks big. He looks strong. He feels good. His weight's not bad. It's definitely within striking distance for that 2 hour for him. So, looking forward to him scrapping and just going out there and just being himself, being able to be relaxed and just going out and having fun.
So a couple questions on the Schultz.
Yep.
International guys should be there, some.
Yep.
And is that a qualifier for our World Team Trials?
Yeah, so usually the winner of the tournament, if they're not qualified already, they qualify a spot for the World Team Trials at the end of the season. And then there's always foreigners there from Russia, Japan. They always bring a lot of teams. I'll bring at least athletes, and there's others that are always there too. So it should be a good field.
Okay, we have just a little under a minute. I'm going to go back to NCAA rules. We've changed just a couple of them. So when fans show up next week or in a couple weeks to watch some wrestling, one of them is you're going to see some facial hair on some guys. Not going to dwell a lot on that. It's just, I think, I'd say stubble to like a light beard is probably going to be accepted now. The other one is the danger, kind of holding the guy in danger. I want you to explain that if you can in about 40 seconds.
It was just, it kind of, I don't know, it kind of has to deal with scrambling, and let's say I'm in on a leg and I'm holding this guy in a position, but no one's really in control. What they do is, if he's exposing, they should hold the position for a while, yell danger, and then there's a count. And if there's no improvement, they award 2 and then award, possibly near fall or whatever is going to happen after that. And it just, nothing's ever happened like that before in wrestling, where you can score a takedown with maybe not actually being in control. So that's going to be the difference this year.
That will be interesting. Brett, appreciate you taking the time out of your day on this great day. We'll be right back with On the Mat.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. When all you want is sports, all you need is 1650 The Fan.
Welcome back to On the Mat. This is Jeff Bradley, my second guest. He'll do the segment 2 and 3. 8th year as head wrestling coach at the University of Northern Iowa, Doug Schwab. Doug, how you doing today?
Doing super, Jeff. Yep.
You were kind of staring. It's such a beautiful day. You were staring out the window there.
Yes, son.
Or you were staring at the producers, Scott Fensloff.
I don't know which one. A little bit of both, yeah.
But either way, we'll try to corral you and get some thoughts on some things. And we're going to start easy. It's going to be an easy question for you, but it's going to hurt a little bit. Like, Red Sox are out now.
Mm-hmm.
Fired their manager. I think you probably approve of that. What's your take on the Red Sox year overall?
Oh boy. You lose Ortiz. The lineup's just not the same without him. I don't think you fill that void. I don't know if it's leadership or whatnot, but Price not being healthy. You can make all kinds of excuses, but the Astros are a better team right now. It's from what I saw, the Astros are better, and probably the Indians were better, and the Dodgers probably just, I mean, those teams are better right now.
But does it hurt you a little bit that you play 160 some odd games?
Well,
you're 5, 6, 7 games better than the Yankees, and they're still playing.
I didn't play them, though.
No, I know. But you're a super fan, so see, I told you it was going to hurt a little bit.
Nah, I mean, the Yankees came back big. You know, I mean, I think if most people probably thought the Indians would probably, the way they came into the postseason would be the team. So, you know, that they ended up going down 2-0 and then winning the next 3, and they won one, I think, yesterday. So, good for those guys. I don't know. I mean, I still pay attention. It's not the same. I love competition. I'll watch it, but just not the same when the Red Sox aren't in it. Well,
on a brighter subject, your Steelers are playing pretty good, and you got to go watch a Pittsburgh game a few weeks ago. If you want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I got to go. Jody Stripmatter, who's one of my college roommates, he's got, you know, one of the top, if not the top clubs in the country. Young guns out there in Pennsylvania, and we used to do a camp out there and then go to a game, and he's like, we need to get that going again. So I took my son Hendrix, who's a big Steelers fan, which was
got a little background music.
That's all right. You know, we got to take him to the game for the first time. He got to go to the walkthrough the day before. LJ Ford, he's played here. Got to know him a little bit. My wife reached out to him and got him to go through the walkthrough. He got pictures with Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell. You know, was
there any other civilians there? I mean, just regular folks?
They said a handful. You know, I was working during that time, and Jody's wife Stephanie took him, and she said maybe 30 people. So there's not a lot of people there.
Yeah, it's pretty exclusive little deal.
Yeah, it's pretty exclusive. And then they went through the walkthrough. I think it was about an hour, and then came back out, and he took them back to the locker room and got to see all the facilities and everything. So
saw the weight room, locker room.
Yeah, saw everything. And then after the game, we got to go down on the field. So it was, you know, he hooked us up good. It was a pretty cool, you know, trip for me and Hendrix, and look forward to me and Hayden's trip. And then, you know, being able to do that with my boys, you know, in the future, just being able to go do something with them and be able to just join time, you know, with those guys.
Okay. Last thing before we start talking about, 100% wrestling is, you know, there's a guy, and it's me, got a top 100 list of music.
I saw that.
And I never really had a top 100, but we'd be sitting in the hot box or we'd be on a road trip, and there'd be a song come on, and somehow I was the guru of music. So they go, well, Bradley, is this on your top 100? And I go, oh, not quite top 100. So finally I got cajoled into it at some point, and I've got my top 100, and then I couldn't even stop at 100. So I had to go like 35 honorable mention. Well, of course I emailed it out to all the coaches and got some great feedback on it. But I want, you know, for the record, what do you think about the top 100 list of my rock and roll best songs ever?
It was good. You know, I had to take some time to be able to put together, you know, I mean, there were some songs in there I was surprised. You know, you had a pretty good mix. I mean, you're number one. I mean, that's pretty hard to go wrong with the Star Spangled Banner being number one. I never thought that. I mean, I never thought about that one, but you know, that being number one was. And my thought there was that there's so many good things that have happened just after I've heard that song. Yeah. And it's, you know, obviously our national anthem. It just Star Spangled Banner. Yeah, a lot of emotion, you know. I mean, but I think I was looking at some of those songs and take it back to, you know, a certain time, I think that's the cool thing with music. I might have to, I don't know if I'll invest the time to do it, but I'll get a small list together. But I liked your list. I don't think our top 10s would have been anywhere near similar, but that's all right. No, and it's funny. I was either talking to Cruz or Coach Roper, and I was like, well, music's so personal. So I would think if you'd match up 20, 25%, that'd be, you know, pretty mutual respect or admiration for the same song. Yeah. I just think what you grew up with and what you really like, and certain things happen to you in certain parts of your life, you know, that's my list. And I'm sticking to it. I'm glad I got your blessing on it. Makes me happy. All right, let's talk some wrestling now. I want to just talk real briefly about homecoming. It's such a big thing. I know Brett talked about it too, but just your overall take on the homecoming weekend. It's always a great event. I think it's, you know, something my brother Mark, you know, when we first took the job, he's like, hey, there's multiple reasons to come back for homecoming. You know, let's get as many families back. Let's get as many alumni back. Let's get as many friends of the program as we can back and celebrate our history, celebrate last season, celebrate the coming season. I don't think we can ever go wrong with getting people around our guys and getting around that environment and kind of getting them to understand what we're about, instead of just, they come to a meet once in a while, but they actually get to see the interaction that we have, with our athletes, with our families. I think that stuff's absolutely, priceless. And then we get an opportunity to honor some people that have given back to our program, because we wouldn't be where we are as a program without the alums, without the friends of the program, without the fans that give back and support us. And we just wouldn't. So anytime that we get an opportunity to get those people back, it's a great thing. And I think it's been a great event ever since we've done it. I think that Mark had a great idea, and we're going to continue to move forward. We're already talking about next year a little bit, maybe moving in front of the West Gym. So then you can actually use the West Gym if the weather's not bad. You got bathrooms there. I think there's some benefits to being able to do that. Maybe we can go right after the practice out to it and that type of stuff, which, so we're always trying to make it better, but I think it's always been a great event. I really enjoy that weekend, and I think anybody that comes to it, any of the families that come to it, I think they leave like, man, I'm really happy that my son's going to school at UNI and wrestling, wrestling, in this program.
So we're just in, about the 9th, 10th day of official practice. What's your initial impressions of the first 7-8 practices we've had so far?
Oh, we're not very good. Not very good. No, I mean, I think, everyone says the first official practice, but it's not like that's like the starting point. It's not like anybody waited till October 10th to get going on their season or to get
just start to get in shape right now.
To get moving forward. Our guys have done, and it's been our guys. It's not been our coaches. It's been our guys have really, they've done the work this spring and summer and fall. And they, you're around enough. You see how much they're giving back to each other, how much they're pushing each other. It's not something that we even have to really lead anymore. We've set the standard. And now they're going to meet that standard, and they're trying to raise that standard. And that's what happens when you have really good leaders on your team. That's what happens when you have guys that believe in the program and believe in each other. That's what happens when you have guys that know that they can be national champions now. I think to me, that's what's happening. That's what's happened in the room. I really like where we're at. I think some guys look, they look like they're ready to go right now. If you had to tee them up and put them out there, on a big stage today, they would be ready to go, which is a real good thing. But there's also growth within that too, So I really see our guys getting better. I don't think we're anywhere near where we're going to be. We're gonna grow and get better throughout the season. I think we did that last year. If you look at our guys almost to a man, I think guys got better throughout the year, and we're starting where we had a different start point now. Now we're just going to keep raising that throughout this season. So I know you kind of get to the point where you're ready to compete. And I think guys are starting to get there, but we still got a couple weeks for that. So just trying to get them focused on, let's take care of today. Let's get better today. Let's make sure that some of those skill areas or gaps that we have that we need to clean up or are getting worked on. And then we do our work. We go home, we relax, and we come back the next day and do it again.
You're listening to On the Mat with Jeff Bradley and head wrestling coach of University of Northern Iowa, Doug Schwab. So I'm not a big social media guy whatsoever, but it's out there going back and forth occasionally. And there is a lot of fans asking me about it, UNI fans, that we cannot get Iowa on the schedule. And I know it's not for lack of trying. I want you to talk as long as you want or as short as you want. Do you see the light at the end of the tunnel at some point, or are we just going to do our Big 12 schedule and offer it to them every time and go from there?
Yeah. There's a lot of things I could say. I think that it's important for the state of Iowa. I think it's important for college wrestling that we do compete and wrestle against each other. And I know there's a lot of fans. Well, yeah, you want to wrestle now? Look at they don't have a very good team coming back, and you guys have one of your best teams. I mean, whatever, man. We wanted to wrestle the last how many years? So that's a bunch of bull. So any of those Hawk, the guys wearing the Hawk color glasses can throw that out the window. If it works, it works, man. If we got to go down to Carver, we'll go down to Carver. I mean, I think to me it makes a whole lot of sense to to fill up the dome. You know, if we want to make ourselves the center of the wrestling universe, like if we want to make Iowa back the center of the wrestling universe, if we can have a big time event and I know we can't set an outdoor record, but we can certainly set an indoor record at the dome. You could have 18,000 people there. And as far as I know, there hasn't been 18,000 people in an indoor dual meet. To me, that's something that if I'm a competitor, that's something like, you know what, that's a really good idea. And I'll put some other things aside because, hey, we want to make Iowa the center of the wrestling universe again. I don't know if it'll happen or not. What I'm concerned with is our team getting better. You know I put a tweet out the other night because it's absolutely true what I said. Because we have a couple guys that are competing in that night of conflict, and it may be their only opportunity for they to get to wrestle in Carver. That's just truth. That's the honest. So, you know, they can cry about it and all that, but that's not it's just true. I mean, if it wasn't true, then you know what, you can call me a liar, but it is true. Like, I don't know if they'll get a chance to wrestle there again. Hopefully they do. But they, you know, I know those guys enjoyed the opportunity, and I think our team would enjoy that opportunity. So I don't know if it's going to go anywhere or not. If it does, it does. I mean, we'll leave a date on the schedule open. If not, then you know what? We're going to be battle tested this year. We've been battle tested every year before, so it doesn't hinge on that, that we have them on the schedule because we need them on the schedule. No, but
that would be a great event. Try to fill the dome. Oh, man, you'd have so many UNI fans, Iowa fans, but just wrestling fans would come. And I think you probably could sell that thing out if you marketed it the right way.
Why not?
Two good products. Absolutely.
Why not try? Yeah. You know what? Why not try and see? Because, man, that's something that I've wanted to do since I've been here. You know, have a dome packed, have a place packed. You know, like I said, at least for a day, let's make Iowa the back to center of wrestling right now.
I agree. So we voted on captains. I don't want to say we did. I didn't have anything to do with it. Can you tell us who the captains are for 2017-18, and how do we derive at the captains?
Just you know, we had a team meeting. You know, kind of talk about the year a little bit and kind of theme and things that and not goals. It's just getting everybody on the same page. This is what we stand for. This is what we're about. This is the things that we value, and that make sure everyone's on the same page with that. And then ask the team. You know, who do you think is a leader? Who do you think deserves to be a captain in this team? And I let them choose because it's their team. It's not my team. You know, as much as, you know, maybe you're the head of the program, but it's not my team, man. It's all 35 guys. It's my coaching staff. It's everyone else's, you know, it's their team too. So, but you know, they got to decide, and four guys had way more votes than everyone else. And there were Max Thompson, Drew Foster, Josh Elber, and Jake Hodges. And man, I think those are all four very quality examples of the type of guys that we want in our program and type of leaders that we want in our program. And you know what? They deserve to if you had a C on your chest, they deserve to have a C on their chest. There's some other guys that do too. You know, it's not like they're the only four guys that are leaders, but those guys stand out, and their peers recognized it, and they got rewarded for it. So those four guys deserve to be captains, and they'll be captains throughout our year. Okay, we've got another first at UNI Wrestling. We have somebody in the All-Star meet. Actually, we have two. Yep.
Max Thompson and Drew Foster will both be in Princeton, New Jersey on November 5th. We got 3 minutes left in this segment. Let's talk about their matchups. You know, it's out in Princeton. I'm assuming you're going out with those two guys.
Yeah, Randy's going to go, and then I'm going to go to as much as I can to that tournament, and then head out that night. You know, I want to be there for as much of the tournament as I can be, and he'll take care of those guys. You know, we'll make them wait the next day. The duel's not till 3. Foster's going to have Renda from NC State. He redshirted last year, was an All-American 2 years ago. And I'm not sure. They haven't announced Max. I think it'll be Klosnik from Princeton.
That's what's on the website.
Is it on the website? Okay,
yeah.
Okay. I haven't even seen that. Okay, so you're way ahead of me, Bradley.
That's about the only time I'm ever ahead of you. But yeah, I just happened to. I pulled it up today because I thought that's who it was, and I wanted to make sure. But yeah,
when we had talked to him before, that was, you know, they said he was going to wrestle, so it just took a little bit. I think we knew about 10 days before on Foster than Max, so I didn't know if he was going to get that call or not. But those two guys get to wrestle in a big match, a big meet. The eyes of the wrestling world are on that event. So I just think it's great that we have two guys that are going to be wearing purple and gold singlets out there competing, and obviously showing that they're a couple of the best guys in the country, because you're trying to get the number one and number two, and sometimes you don't get number one and number two there for whatever reason. Those guys are 3 and 4, so they put themselves in the mix to be the best guy in the country, and they deserve that. It's an honor to wrestle in it. I got to wrestle in it. I did my senior year, and it's a big deal. But it's as much as a big deal, it's another match too. But
right.
But just puts UNI on the big stage, and those guys have earned that. And look forward to going out with those guys and going and competing their tails off for 7 minutes and scoring a whole bunch of points.
So we just have 1 minute left in this segment. I want to start. I guess the day before that will be Harold Nichols Open. Mm-hmm. November 4th will be Saturday. When that season officially opens, we're going to have all the older guys wrestling, all the red shirts. Anybody that's healthy is going to compete, right?
Yeah.
So just in this minute, let's run through. I want to go through all the weight classes, but we'll try to get 125 knocked out here. We got Jay Schwarm and Tanner Roweeder. Mm-hmm. Let's just talk about those guys and who you might see coming out of that.
Just getting Tanner healthy right now with his knee. That's a big thing. You gotta get guys healthy and ready to compete. Schwarm got a lot of matches, varsity matches last year, a lot of big time. And the great thing about Schwarm is he's a competitor, man. He steps up. He steps up when the lights shine. It's like, he really responds to that. He's gotten bigger and stronger this spring and summer, which I think was really important. So we got a few young guys there too, but I think those two guys are ready to really make their mark.
Okay, we'll be right back with On the Mat.
Log on and listen online at 1650thefan.com, the online home of 1650 The Fan.
We're back on the mat with Jeff Bradley and UNI wrestling coach Doug Schwab. Hey, we left off at 125. Let's jump up to 133. Probably the two contenders. Now, I'm going to throw out contenders, for the fans who they can kind of focus on at that first open, who might break through and be that varsity guy. Yeah. If there's a guy I leave out, by all means, insert him in there too. But 133 is looking like a Jack Wagner or a Rudy Yates.
Yeah. One thing I was thinking about it, you go back to homecoming, and there's some guys that maybe you talk about a little bit more, or maybe you kind of say you look forward to them being in a lineup. And I'll say that because there's certain things that they've done, how they've worked in the summer. And I know maybe some guys they don't like that, but if they don't, then do something. You have all the control to do something about that. I was just thinking about, because you asked about, well, who do you think's going to kind of be the guy, or who do you think's going to emerge, or who would you put in the lineup right now? I get that all the time, and I'm not counting anybody out. I mean, that's the thing, is I'm not counting anybody out, but certain things that you see, and you see it over time, is like, well, this guy, he's consistently giving himself the best opportunity. He's consistently getting better. He's consistently the guy that is stepping up, and that's why I mentioned certain guys, maybe more than others. We go to 33, we've got two quality guys there. Wagner transferred in, from Iowa. I think he's getting better, just kind of being able to relax and move and kind of let go of some, let go of some things, whatever it is. But man, I feel like he's getting better. He's growing, and a guy being happy and then being in a place they want to, a lot of time your performance is better when you feel good, and you feel good with where you're at. So yeah, I think feel like it's been a really good move for him. Obviously, Yates is incredible talent. Beat some really good guys last year at 33, and is incredibly capable of being one of the best guys in the country. It's good to have battle, man. It's good to have two guys that are going to challenge each other and make each other raise each other's level. So I know they wrestled a couple times last year in competition, and Rudy was able to beat him, but it's a whole new year.
All right. So let's move up to 141. Of course, you have Josh Alber, two-time qualifier. But, Jake Cothe, Jake Hodges, both those guys have had a ton of varsity matches, so that's a pretty good weight class for the Panthers.
No, great. A great weight class, all kinds of depth there and quality depth and guys that can, have already proven they can beat really good guys. Hodges was able to beat, a guy ranked really high last year, the scuffle. He beat some good guys throughout his career. Cothe's beat some good guys throughout his career. Just got to keep him healthy. Unfortunately, the last 2 seasons have ended, in ACL tears.
Right.
And so working him back slow, took a lot more time with him this time. And we're not going to probably see him right out of the gate. As the season goes, we'll get him out there just because I wanted him to know that he's healthy. Sometimes you've been injured, it's always a little bit back of your head. And then once you kind of know that you're okay, then you can really let loose. And we're still working on it with him. But man, he can sting a lot of guys and score a lot of points. Like I said, want to keep him healthy, but Albers has looked very good. Continue to attack, and that's kind of the biggest thing that I've seen, at least in the room. He's continued to attack, continue to build, continue to try to score points, and just really believe in his offense because he's got great offense. He's bigger and stronger because some people, is he a 41 pounder? Yeah, he is. He's big and strong right now. He looks really good. He looks good for the weight, and I think he's extremely excited to be at that weight. We have some, I don't know if they're problems. They're good things to have quality guys and quality guys that, that are pushing each other, make each other better.
So we move up to 149, returning All-American sophomore, Max Thompson. And you also have Hunter Washburn in there, quality guy. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Max gets the nod there, and he's going to be out the All-Star meet, won't wrestle in Ames. But tell us how Max and Hunter are going to battle out for that spot. Well,
Washburn, he comes in, he works his tail off every day. I think if you saw a guy maybe make one of the biggest transformations, I think even in their freshman year, like I don't know if I can do it, not sure if I can make it or not, and then all of a sudden make that decision. He was one of those guys, and ever since, man, he's tough. He stays in there. He battles every day. Skills are getting better. It just, you do got one of the best guys in the country. So to me, that's a great opportunity though for him to use Max to get better and Max to use him to get better. And I think that's what they're doing. Washburn does a great job all the way around. If it's school, social life, whatever, he adds to our team. So, got to have, and I'm not counting him out. Max is he's done a really good job of making himself one of the best guys in the country. And, now he's doing it as a sophomore.
You're listening on the mat with Jeff Bradley and head wrestling coach at UNI, Doug Schwab. So let's move on up to 157, another weight now that have a little bit of depth and some quality individuals. You got Peyton Moore, ton of varsity matches last year. Dan Kelly and Logan Ryan.
Yeah, just I think Peyton had a great spring, summer, fall, very, very consistent. Kelly had a good summer ball too, and since Logan's got here, he's worked he's been in there, hammering every day. So again, another good thing to have quality guys. And those guys, all styles may be a little bit different, but they can all be incredibly effective. I go back to kind of Peyton and, you think about the conference tournament and he's wrestling the guy that was in the finals. And really, I think if he doesn't get dinged, he scores that takedown. I think it's a tie match, at that time, and he's got a lot of momentum on his side. So I think he's been able to see signs of what he's capable of. Excited to see him go out and compete, especially this Harold Nichols, and just see where that confidence level is at. Because right now, he's done a great job. He's looked good in the room. He's been extremely consistent, and that's how you make a jump, consistency over time. Kelly's done a good job too this spring and summer. I think there's a lot of guys that looking, hey, I think there's an opportunity, there's an opening there. And, if I was that guy, I'd be like, well, I'm going to shut that door on that opportunity real quick. And I think that's how some of those guys are thinking. But it's good to have healthy competition in a room.
So is that more your philosophy right now on the guy that's going to be the guy, you need to go out 2 or 3 open tournaments and prove you're the best at the weight class instead of having some tryout with some no fans there and some official.
Oh, I think every coach would much rather have them sorted out in competition, and you've been around enough to know that sometimes, matchups, like you can match up with a guy in the room, but he might beat 8 other guys and you only beat 2 of those guys,
it happens more than you think.
So that's a tough call as a coach. I mean, obviously I'd love to have it cut and dry every single time. That this guy he just performed better than this other guy. And, those guys are going to have those opportunities with those tournaments, those early season tournaments. And so those guys will give themselves, like I said, everyone's going to have an opportunity to separate themselves and just go do it.
So we'll move up to 165. 2-time qualifier Bryce Steyert, Isaiah Patton, and Brody Beck.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on 165?
Thoughts on 65 are, we got a guy that's got a potential redshirt year. We talked about using that thing, and we got some capable guys behind that though. If Steyert feel like his best thing, and I think we do feel like the best thing is for him to be able to take that year and just mature and get better, really focus on his wrestling, give back to the team, make those other guys around him better. I mean, Patton and Beck are both going to go out and battle. Patton the last 2 years has put really as much work as anybody in that room. Now it's just really truly believing in that work and knowing that you're one of the best guys, and that's kind of that belief thing is what's. We just got to get some of these guys over the hump. We got some guys that do, to a certain level, but then once they get to a certain level, then they're uncertain. So they got to know that there's some of the best guys in the country, and we have some of the best guys in the country up and down our lineup. And it's just kind of them getting the chance to prove it. But we got some of the best guys in the line in the country in that room, for those guys to work out with. So right. To me, I'm like, well, Lujan, I'm working out with Foster. I know he's one of the best guys in the country. You know what I mean? I mean, same thing. If I'm working out with Max, he's one of the best guys in the country. If I'm like starting, he's one of the best guys in the country, without a doubt.
No doubt about it.
So I think guys can build a lot of confidence from that. But somebody's going to step up there, and we're going to have an extremely capable guy there that is going to have an opportunity to be, score a lot of points wherever it is.
So move up to 174. Looks like it's Taylor Lujan's, qualifier last year. Though I don't think he was around to 12.
No, 16.
Yeah, 16.
Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Real super talented. I don't really see anybody taking him out, but there might be some other contenders there. But talk about Taylor a little bit.
And I don't mean that it doesn't matter. Last year's done. You learn from it. I think he's learned from it. The thing is, man, everyone saw flashes last year of what this guy's capable of. And he had off-season surgery. He's healthy now. Looks great in the room. Now it's just transferring that into competition, because I have no doubts that what he's capable of doing on the mat, and how good he is.
Scary good.
And those things, we just got to get those things to match up, and excited about him. I tell you, everything I talk about him, I love watching this guy compete. You love watching him wrestle, and that's why I want him to just go out and enjoy, compete, and wrestle through everything. And then if the guy happens to score more points than you, then he scores more points than you.
Yeah, I don't know how many people, even casual fans, maybe even hardcore wrestling fans knew Lujan. But after that Vatek, that first dual meet last year, it was all over the place. That video and, him doing, because he wrestles a little guy, funky style, but he's a big, strong, strapping guy, and people just love it.
Yeah.
They love watching that kind of style. And he puts points on the board, and it doesn't matter if he's 5 ahead, he's trying to get 10 ahead, or if he's 5 behind. Yeah. A couple seconds later, he's going to be tied up.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch. So we move up to 184, the other All-American for UNI last year, redshirt junior, Drew Foster.
Yeah, obviously, Drew made a incredibly big jump, last year. I feel like he's made another jump too. Just in the jump that he's made, and really the last year, it's just kind of, it's been a lifestyle. It's been a lifestyle. I'm going to take care of school really well. I'm going to sleep well. I'm going to take care of outside of the room really well. I'm going to do everything really, really well. And I think sometimes guys think that they can pick and choose what they do well. Well, I'm just going to get by in school and think that it is not going to impact your wrestling, which it does. Everything bleeds over, but he's done everything really well. He's made a big jump. He's one of the best guys in the country, no doubt, and excited to watch the continued growth that he has throughout this year. 97, Hochschlag and Schiedenhelm. Hogg, man, he is an absolute hammer on top. Gotten bigger and stronger, still building himself in the weight class. He's done a really good job of working himself in that weight class. Isaac Schiedenhelm is a specimen, man. Strong, explosive, can wrestle, just, still getting some of that the confidence, some of that underneath him. He came out halfway through the, about October last year. So it didn't start with us, but, he's been with us, and man, love having him in the room. He adds a ton. Going to be really, really, really good. And then, heavyweight, we got Frank Walsh and Isley. Both guys, won a lot of matches last year. Isley's a name that people have heard. Big, strong, can score points, incredibly athletic. Just, man, believing in himself, man, letting that trigger go, letting things go, and just being able to, to really flow and wrestle. Because when he does, he's a pretty dangerous man. But excited for him at heavyweight. You kind of go through our lineup. It's young, top to bottom, but that doesn't mean you can't have an impact right now. And these guys plan on having an impact nationally, and I know that's how they're thinking, that's how they're training, and hopefully everyone's looking forward to the season and got their tickets.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time out of your busy day. Good luck November 4th and 5th, the start of the season. And I want to thank everybody for listening and supporting the greatest sport in the world, amateur wrestling. Good night.
You've been listening to On the Mat, the Cedar Valley's longest-running radio show devoted entirely to wrestling. Brought to you by Rolling Ford and the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum on 1650 The Fan.
This show is part of the Mat Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to MatTalkOnline.com.